everybody, welcome to this week's Prophetic Trumpet. We are in the 5th installment of the Four Horsemen series. Hopefully you've taken the time to review the previous 4 installments so that you can understand why we are saying what we are saying. We have covered the first seal. It is opened by the Lamb of God, Yeshua, Jesus Christ. The seal is broken and an angel calls for an emergence. And the white horse with a rider appears. This is in Revelation 6, by the way, for those of you keeping score at home. And for 3 weeks, really, for the last 3 weeks after the introduction, that would be 4 weeks collectively, which adds up to why we're in week 5. We have painstakingly covered who this person is, this rider on the white horse, what they will bring to the earth, and we have also noted that the seal isn't broken until the church is encircling the throne of God, witnessing this ceremony. That would mean a pre-tribulation rapture. So the connection to Islamic prophecy, which came about 1,000 years after the Bible, seems really kind of eerie regarding the emergence of their Messiah known as the Mahdi. Really, it is possible, quite possible, that Islam stole the biblical text, applying it to their own text, but the anticipation for them isn't the same as the anticipation as ours. So, in that we share the belief the Messiah is coming and will promote our own spiritual beliefs. No, if only it were that easy. So, what are the conditions? What are the conditions that the Messiah of Christianity will emerge? That is the question we're going to have going forward today, and these are found in Revelation chapter 19 and chapter 20. It is a world torn by geological, relational, astrological chaos, and ironically, the Mahdi will emerge when the world is in chaos. Hello everybody, I'm Dr. Dan, and we want to thank you for joining us for this week's Prophetic Trumpet. This is the introduction of what we are going to get into today. Do you like the shirt? This is a Four Horsemen polo shirt. We've got the link below in the information if you're interested in purchasing one and supporting the Four Horsemen and styling and profiling all over town and looking as only as you can look as you follow along with the Four Horsemen series. Now, this horse is a white horse. No, that's not a racist white supremacist thing. That's a sign that's symbolic for victory in the Middle East. It also represents purity. It also represents divinity. But it could possibly be an imposter, given everything that we have covered in the first 4 weeks. Now remember what we covered from Daniel 9:27. There's a lot in that verse, and this guy is known for bringing peace. He's got a bow in his hand, and we covered that this bow is not like a bow and arrow, because there's no arrows listed, there's no string listed, and we covered what that bow is. If you really want the context, you're gonna have to go back and listen. So that being said, he is sent out to conquer, and our assessment is that in Islam it is perfectly legal to lie, because it lures unbelievers into their doom. The focus of today's teaching is the condition for which the rider of the white horse will emerge. Be clear, this is a human being. This is not an angel. So when we see the summoning of the rider on the white horse, the Lamb of God is not summoning an angel to go out to conquer and to be a conqueror. He's summoning a human being. Now, post-rapture, the bride of Christ has been lifted. That's why it's called post-rapture. Consider the world without Christianity. Some of you are like, hey, that would be awesome. Well, some of y'all want that, and it will have a major effect globally, because economically, without Christianity, the world will be in shambles. The house of cards is going to collapse. There will be a major shift in the workforce, because the hardest workers in the workforce are going to be gone. Also, those who do not live off the system that support those on the system, yeah, guess what? They're gone. This means that the movement will commence and will be slowed dramatically. But now let's take a look at something else. Now, what is to note is that if America financially falls, the whole house of cards and the global economic market and the stock market will fall. Why is that? Well, you can blame President Clinton, you can blame President Bush, you can even blame President Barack Hussein Obama, who created the Wall Street tie-in to China. And it will crash. And guess what? China's economy will crash with it, because we are now interlinked with them economically. So, in everyday life, chaos has started to appear almost on a daily basis. Here, chaos at the collapse of stock markets and the financial sector, it's going to erupt globally. Disasters are going to start to occur. Machines are going to be unmanned after the rapture and unsupervised. These are the robots that they're producing to do all this work. And guess what? Production will be stalled. Supply lines, remember those? Remember that from the global emergency of 2020? Guess what? They're going to be stalled or cease. EMS crews will be over the top busy. So if you're not a Christian and you're a frontline EMS worker, guess what? You better be ready for some overtime there, because that's what's coming. And the disappearance of many will be considered a global event. Turmoil will result, and because, let's just be honest, the age of lawlessness will exploit the chance of preying upon those who are unprotected. If you have supplies and you're unprotected, guess what? You're going to be prey. A national emergency is going to result potentially, and I say potentially because there is a theory out there that the federal government will use it as an opportunity, imagine that, as to unleash a series of deceptive events in order to establish control over the entire global population. The case can be made, however, that the rider of the white horse is not mentioned again as such in the book of Revelation. Now, his effects are limited to his unleashing and is overshadowed by the catastrophes and the judgments that follow for the next 12 chapters. But this man does reappear. I need to make that clear. And his impact is unmistakable, because in Revelation 13 it fulfills the purpose of which he is called. And quite honestly, by unleashing this and being overshadowed, he's going to have a tag team partner to help him out. Shia Islamic prophecy states and declares that the Mahdi will be preceded by an heir who will be appearing in the chaos. Biblically speaking, because that's really what's more important here, biblically speaking, this occurs 2/3 of the population. It doesn't disappear. It's not the rapture. The rapture is not that wide. 2/3 of the world population is going to be absolutely destroyed and killed, wiped out by war and plague. You can find that reference in Zechariah 13:8, Revelation 6 verses 7 and 8, and Revelation 9 verses 13, 14, and 15. That's this week's update for the Four Horsemen. We're happy that you have joined us here for the 5th week. Join us next week as we continue on the unleashing of the Four Horsemen. Please like and share the message, and may the Lord bless you as you serve Him.